Over the past 2 years, the AAPI community has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting rise in anti-Asian hate. Yet even in the face of this hatred, this community, my community, has stood strong and resolute, a testament to our resilience. Although we in the United States are transitioning into a new normal, there are still lingering questions about what happens next. How does a community hurt by discrimination and hatred recover and ultimately thrive? To help us understand this question, we'll be talking to 3 community leaders here in the greater Boston area about their hopes for the AAPI community. Before we talk about the future though, let's take a second to recap the past. America is a nation of immigrants who came here to achieve the American dream. The executive director of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Asian American and Pacific Islanders Commission, Yasmin Padamsee Forbes, believes the immigrant experience is core to the US's rich history.
So it's incredible that, and it's wonderful that America is a nation of immigrants and that it has welcomed immigrants for all these years. And it's so important that they continue doing it and also ensuring that immigrants are fully involved in the story of America, because that is what makes America great.
The AAPI community is no exception. People across the Asia Pacific came here to make their lives and the lives of their children better. Yet the US wasn't always welcoming to these immigrants. Throughout history, they dealt with oppression and discrimination. For example, residents in Boston's Chinatown, the only historic Chinatown in the New England region, experienced workplace discrimination. Many immigrants came to the US to work factory jobs, but were often barred from entering these roles. Instead, they created laundries to make a living wage, a testament to their flexibility and cleverness. To combat loneliness and hardship, Boston's Chinatown immigrants banded together, forming a tight-knit community by playing mahjong and volleyball together. City of Boston employee and Chinatown Main Street volunteer Courtney knows this community very well because she grew up in Chinatown.
All the uncles, aunties, everybody knew who everybody was. Lots of businesses, lots of immigrant-owned businesses, lots of people just talking Chinese native tongue. Mom and pop businesses, definitely. No chain retailers back in that day. Just a lot of vibrancy in the neighborhood.
For the first-generation immigrants, Chinatown and its associated organizations became a second home, a reminder of where they came from. For their kids, Chinatown was a physical connection to their homelands. Here's longtime volunteer and board director of the Greater Boston Chinese Cultural Association, Renne.
I remember when we had an open house at this building, we have a youngster, and he said this is a home of Chinese culture. I think he said nicely and fit the case. I think it means different things for people who are immigrants, like myself, because we so want to desperately connect with our culture. Like my son, my daughter, maybe you guys are. So this is a place help you to reconnect, become connecting with culture.
This younger generation is the future of Chinatown, but they aren't as involved in the family businesses as their parents and grandparents were.
A lot of younger generations are not as involved in Chinatown, and a lot of times the elders are, in their time where they're getting ready to retire, but they won't take over the business. So that's a lot of the generational divide. Like they all have, their own businesses. They all have their own works and jobs, and they won't necessarily come back to Chinatown to take over the family business. That's what I see a lot of now, is that general divide.
Although the younger generations aren't staying in the family business, they're getting active in other ways, namely social justice, which is what Yasmin is most excited for.
Right now, what's so exciting is that you find a lot of young people very involved in social justice issues. You find young people walking hand in hand for Black Lives Matter, and there are so many other Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who are looking at environmental issues and are, very committed and doing incredible work on that.
Even long-standing organizations such as GBCCA are getting involved with social justice initiatives.
The mutual understanding is the basic for racial harmony, in my opinion. And so in other occasions, for the Boston First Night or Dragon Boat Festival, we always play an active role based on that principle. So we are happy to bring some Chinese culture, offer some Chinese culture activities.
But no matter how Chinatown changes, Courtney knows it isn't going anywhere.
Chinatown will still be here. That's my opinion. I want Chinatown to be on the map and stay on the map.
The API community has gone through a lot in the past 2 years. We have survived hatred and discrimination, and by sticking together, we've persevered. I am excited and hopeful for the younger generations to enact change and make Chinatown and the world a better place.